Hello everyone. I hope you guys are having a better Sunday than our family. Everybody is sick with a cold. So I decided to go ahead and just do a real quick live video. Go ahead and get the watch list out for the week for you all. So let's go ahead and jump into it. As always, I'm not a financial professional. So these are based on my opinion. Do your own due diligence and please trade with proper risk management. I hope everyone is having a great holiday season so far. As we have 2 kids in daycare now, they bring home all the germs and are more than happy to share them with us. So wanted to go ahead and get this done and get the week ahead for you guys as well. So on my longs, I have Ostk overstock, which with the cryptocurrencies surging and Bitcoin surging as well, it's definitely affecting overstock. It does have 10.91 million in the float, and the short volume on Friday was 59.90% of the overall volume that was traded. As you guys know, I do like lower float stocks for the short, for the long trades, so that when they're squeezing or when there is demand for the stock, then the stock will run up more quickly. It's similar to having a stock that nobody wants. As it drops, it tends to drop more quickly than it will rise. So I like lower float stocks for the longs and momentum and going upwards. And I also like to look at the short volume that happened on the day prior, because if you have those two together, that tends to be a good equation for me of a high probability trade of a stock running up fairly quickly, because you have the fear factor of the shorts they're going to be covering, as well as the new people stepping in as a low float that is moving. So overstock, like I said, is my first one for support of 66.84 and resistance of 70.02. Next on my list is TISI, Team Inc. That did have that's a lower float as well of 28.98 million. I like to cut it off at about 20, so it is on the cusp there. On Friday, it had a huge amount of short selling volume of 78.72%. All of my information I get from shortsqueeze.com, so definitely check that out as well. A support of 14.40 and resistance of 14.7. If you do look at the chart, you'll see that it does have a void to the upside if it were to break out above 16. So definitely watch out for that. If it does break above 15 would be a mental resistance point, and then 16 for the chart, and then fill up to about 22. So that one definitely has some upside potential to it. Overstock is also a new 52-week high, so that one is surging, and every time that it breaks out, there is just the mental resistance, I would say, of the whole numbers, and 50-cent marks as well for people selling off. Next on the list is NGVC, Natural Grocers by Vitamin Cottage. That one had a 49.94% short float volume on Friday, 7.72 million in the float of the stock, and support of 8.84 and 9.05. If you look on the chart, you'll look back at a daily chart for the year, you will see that it's at a resistance point, so it could easily surge up, or it could pull back and it could turn into a short. This one does have the potential to run as well with the lower float. All of my charts for this video will be up on my blog, cjanetrade.com, so definitely check it out. It'll be up later tonight after I have some rest from this nasty cold. Next one on the list, BLPH. BLPH has been selling off really for the past couple years, but it looks like it's in an upward swing off of the bottom. It does have 12.65 million in the float. Short volume on Friday was 55.03%. A support of 258 and resistance of 268. It does look like it is at a resistance point on the chart, and it could be an upward momentum. It does have some days in the past where it has run up, but it didn't hold its spikes. It sold off as well. So definitely watch out for that one for an upward potential move. We have CAR, Avis and Budget Group, at 62.7 million in the float and 45.52% on the short float volume on Friday. This one I like because it's at a support and resistance. For the year, it is breaking out. However, on a 5-year chart, you will go back and you will see it's right sort of in the middle. It's hitting a bit of a resistance, so it could run up further to about 52 before it could test that new resistance back in, it looks like October of 2016. So that would be the next level of resistance if it does break out from the 45 level. Otherwise, it could pull back down and go down to about 32. So keep it on watch for the support or resistance break. That one could go either way. On the short list for the week, we have Safm. Safm is a lower float stock, but it is having downward movement to it. It did break the 50-day moving average, and it did have two downward days this past week from earnings, so it could continue down. Every time it looks like it's gone spiked down or gapped down in the past, it has had about a 5-day run down before it finds consolidation and bounces up. It does look like the 200-day moving average is roughly about, 132.50, and I would say support right now is 142.13 and resistance of 145.58. So keep that one on watch if it does break down through Friday's low of 138. If it does, I believe it'll go on down to 132, bounce off the 200-day moving average before it, find the 200-day moving average before it bounces. After that, we have ABM. ABM has 64 million in the float, a support level of 36.7 and 37.72. This one as well is hitting new lows for the year. However, it does look like it as at a potential support on a 5-year weekly chart. So check and see if it does break down below 36.70. It looks like it might have more room down to the 200-day moving, down to about 34 before it will find consolidation and bounce off of there. We have Oracle, ORCL, with support of 48.30 and resistance of 48.48. It does have 3 billion in the float. So this did have a negative day based on earnings. It did bounce some. It went down to 47 and it bounced. So it might very well be in an upward movement from here. There might be some bigger players, big money buying into it for retirement accounts, that sort of stuff, as they see that it is on a low for the stock for the year. However, not for the year, but just a lower, it's devalued with earnings some. However, it does have a gap void to the bottom. So check that out, because if it does break down further, it could go down to 46 and then potentially down to 44 for support if it were to continue running down. With the large floats like that, 3 billion, if you do start to have a lot of movement to the downside, it will continue down, in my opinion, for a couple days before it will bounce and consolidate. After that, we have VSTM, which has a support of 303 and a resistance of 321. Float is 29.90 million. And this one does look like it has void to the downside, roughly of about 250 if you are interested in shorting lower price stocks. And then it looks like it could go down to 2. So potential move down $1 for VSTM. SIEB. SIEB has been a big low float run in the past week. It had 2 great up days. It looks like it could be in an oversold status. I have a support level of 1276 and resistance of 1434. It has 1.94 million in the float. It does look like it might have found a resistance level of 1434, and it might be pulling back. So keep it on watch. If it does start to fail, it could very well be a nice parabolic move to the downside after the 2 parabolic days up. My swing long potential stocks for longer swing trades would be TSRO, FRED, PRTA, and NSIT. As always, guys, I hope you guys are having a great holiday season. I'm just feeling a little under the weather. If you guys ever have any questions, if you are interested in getting my emailing watch list, I do it every morning by 9:15. I have 10 stocks. This past Friday, all 5 of my long picks were up at least 11%, some more. And definitely check it out at cjanetrade.com. Once again, all the charts for this video will be up at cjanetrade.com. And check out my book, FMJ, Trust, Transition, and Trade. You can get it on Amazon. A great, great Christmas gift or holiday gift for anybody that you think might be interested in trading. It'll really open their eyes to see that you don't have to have one simple path to get there. Everybody's different, so everybody has a different strategy. Carpe profit, seize those profits one at a time, and have a wonderful week ahead. Thanks, guys.